So right now we're going to walk through sort of a behind the scenes look of what a typical multiple offer looks like. Now we of course don't know the details of every bidding war out there, but I've done literally participated in hundreds of multiple offers. So what I'm going to kind of share you is a very, very rough example of what you can expect if a property has, for example, 10 people bidding on it. What are the range of offers and what does it look like from a seller's perspective when you're receiving these offers? So if we look at a typical property, let's just say that the property we're interested in bidding on is listed for $799. But when we do our CMA, we find that the value range is between $960,000 and $1 million. That's kind of the range that we think the value is. Now, when we look at, if we were the listing agent, for example, and we're receiving the offers on this property and we got 10 offers, what I would expect as an agent, and usually what would happen, is we would get roughly one offer for list price, and it might even have a couple of conditions on it. This of course is a buyer who just is not realistic, doesn't understand the market, and their agent probably isn't advising them very well. Now, we're going to get probably another 4 offers between $800 and $960. Again, these are 4 offers that are actually below the market value of the home. They're well above the asking price. I mean, they could be offering $950, which on paper, $150,000 over asking might seem incredible. But again, unless someone's done their proper comparative market analysis, the buyer's not going to realize that that's not realistic. It's not even the market value for the home. And we find this most of the time that 50% of the offers are not even in the value range. They're actually below market value. And again, this is why it's important to sort of understand what the value is so you're competing on homes that you actually stand a chance of winning. Now, once we're sort of past this range, we would expect roughly 2 offers in the low end of the value range. So that would be maybe between $960,000 and $980,000. Good bids, not good enough to get it. Reasonable, at least somewhat in the market value, but at the low end of the range. And when a house has 10 offers, it's usually pretty competitive, and usually in that situation, a buyer needs to be bidding at the very high end of the market value range and sometimes even slightly above market value. And that's where we would expect to see roughly 3 offers between $980,000 to $1 million, or possibly even just over $1 million. And those really are the 3 buyers who are kind of fighting it out for this property. And I think this is important to think about, that as a buyer, when you're competing, you think that you're competing with 10 other people, but most of the time you're really not. If your agent has done a good comparative market analysis and you're bidding at the high end of the value range in a situation like this, you're probably only competing with 2 other people, I'd say at most, or maybe 3 other people, because most of the people are going to be going below market value or at the low end of the value range. So again, that's why it's critically important to think about what the value is, so that you're making an offer that's actually competitive and gives you a good chance of winning, in a very competitive housing market.
I hope you found that buyer tip helpful. If you're buying a home in the Toronto area's very competitive housing market and want an edge, sign up for my free 1-hour webinar on the top 10 strategies that are going to give you that advantage. You're going to learn the #1 thing that you need to know when deciding what price to offer on a home, why price alone is not the only factor that leads someone to win in a multiple offer situation, and how to find value in good homes that other buyers overlook. Click the link above or below to sign up now to give yourself that advantage in Toronto's housing market.